Hi, my name is Lisa. I'm speaking from Monarch Butterfly Land Saving Society. I haven't spoken in a while, but I wanted to say from my work environmentally healing desert lands and helping to bring back freshwater rain, which was through working with the pollinators and habitat builders and giving them high quality nourishment and really good quality water, which I think led to higher quality rainfall and better climate. I know the climate in California has gone through what they are saying is like a 45% change from a complete drought area, maybe 90 or something percent drought, to 45%, 50% healed in Southern California. I know that's due to the backyard environmentalism movement where we take care of the wildlife and only give them really good water so that when they procreate and build habitats or sow seeds, they do it from a standpoint of a body that's hydrated with really good water, not salt water. So every little bit that they work on over the course of time means that the plants that grow and then even the food eventually will be free of some of the salt, which dehydrates you. And we know, I know dehydration from a small nursing background I have is the major cause of illness. So the less dehydration you can have in your physique, the more healthy you can be. It's always good to have pH balanced water and think in terms of as less something that's treated so it has as much alkaline as possible. I give the animals only pH balanced water, and I really feel that the birds look amazing. I used to just see black or gray birds, and now I have these amazing little yellow, bright yellow birds. I see really bright red birds. I have ducks that have come and have started to build kind of little things in my backyard. I don't even know what they are. And they're turning bright green and purple. And I think the colors are coming back because they're healing from all the salt. The animals, in a way, probably are full of salt because if they drink from the water, which is basically our ocean or our lakes and streams, we're 97% salt water. So when we feed them really good water and you do it from, say, a mountaintop, which is closer to, say, the migratory birds who fly north and south and who do have more effect on the climate, they're the flocks that go back and forth, you can really have a dramatic effect on snowpack, which then brings about, in California, I really feel that the Santa Ana winds, which run up and back north and south from the Sierra Nevada mountains and the San Gabriel Mountains through a horrible forest fire area, was made a lot less arid and dry and like tinderbox type quality for fire because we brought up corn, fresh corn full of what's considered like a glistening or a biotin or an alkaline type of fodder, which really hydrates. And I believe that it can help regenerate soil when a squirrel or a gopher eats something like that and drinks pH balanced water. It was hard to put out water. We put out a lot of fresh corn that was very, very moist. And it seemed that at times there were like black clouds of smoke above the San Gabriel Mountains where maybe they were able to put something into the ground or into their activities that they do when they burrow under the ground and bring more oxygen and more hydration into the soil. And it seemed that along the San Gabriels, the Santa Anas over the last couple of years have not been so dramatic. And I think that's what led to the 45% improvement in our drought ridden climate in Southern California, starting to heal the Santa Anas. I've felt that the forest fires in California are the reason the climate here is so dry and there really is so much problem with drought. It seems directly related to the Santa Anas because as we worked in the mountains and the Santa Anas seemed to ease, which are the winds that go north and south, and the winds are really supposed to go from the west to the east. The jet stream, you know, is supposed to go from the west to the east. The Santa Anas be along that forest fire area, which might be there because the trees burned down, might have brought the drought. It's related to El Nino, to California, and also more and more forest fires. So when you bring fresh water and things like corn, which is very hydrating kind of fodder, to up in quantities for gophers, which are really very, very upset little animals. They're very gray, and they're very like bony, like they're not nourished. They look like they're very nervous and upset, and they live lonely lives, if you notice and study squirrels and gophers. But as I started to do that, I noticed that, say, the one in my backyard I had turned an orange, and he just started devouring everything I put out, and partaking of water, I think, fresh water or pH balanced water, but I would buy nut bars. Certainly I found that things like lettuce and cabbage and corn, fresh corn, were the best because they really offer a lot of hydration within the fodder. And then they burrow under the ground, and these things somehow percolate into the soil and add oxygen and hydration and light, because vegetables and fruits have light from the sun, and light heals too. When you open an orange, you see it's full of hydration, but also it's full of light. And light can enliven the soil. So I think what happened in the San Gabriels is that the gopher population healed some of the forest degraded soil, and the really fresh water that we brought up in huge quantities, plus the corn, brought about a cloud cover that was not so salty. And salt is actually dehydrating and can bring fire more than, say, fresh water. Salt can be a fire hazard. So I think by ridding the salt and trying ways to rid the salt, we healed not only the soil of that ash quality and brought back some oxygen and light and good water. We also healed the clouds above and had rain. And the climate in California over the last 2 years that we've been working seems to be that the drought they declared in the news was about 45% healed in Southern California, and it's an outright record. I would hope that people in drought-ridden areas, and especially forest fire areas or volcano areas, would know that it's those fires that I feel are ruining our climate and causing global warming. And the thing to do working around areas, especially now you see those volcanoes erupting, is to just keep putting out as much good water as you can, expensive or non, the pH balanced water, and things like corn and cabbage for the gopher population that burrows in the soil and reclaims the soil, and certainly bird feeders. You don't need to feed them seeds. They can't even really plant in that soil, but you can feed them millet, which is a form of grain they can eat, or corn, or cracked corn they can eat, which strengthens them and nourishes them so they can do their work. They don't really have to sow seeds that, say, are the types that sprout growth, but they could have millet and cracked corn and things that strengthen their own bodies for the gophers and the birds, and really fresh water and fresh corn and fresh fodder. I would put it in every mountain range or every place where there's volcanoes, or things like winds that go north and south, which are heated winds rather than winds that go from west to east. And I think you would see within a year, it actually took only 3 or 4 months, and we saw a dramatic change. We had 2 hours of light rain every night throughout the year 2000 and I think 15 and 16, and it was amazingly temperate and very nice. It was not like heavy rain and then drought. It was just light rain every night, and everything cooled down. There was about a variability of 20 degrees, about 55 degrees at night, 75 degrees during the day, which is good because for the health of the body, it's important to have stability, and weather, extreme weather is bad for the physique of animals and people. We know when we go to the doctor, they take our temperature. A stable temperature range to live within always is healthier. It's healthier to be a stable, to live in a stable environment, and that's temperature and hydration is something you need to consider. Levels of hydration versus wind or oxygen, and levels of temperature, heat versus cold, and you have to consider temporary, bringing a moderate to both of them. And I found between 55 to 75 we had, which was pretty good. In California, could be very extreme variability. And so anyway, I think if people really want to start helping where there are those volcanoes and those things erupting, especially around Hawaii and where they can erupt and things are going crazy, is to just keep putting out bottles and bottles of pH balance or purified, best is pH balance water for animals in bird baths and big tubs and anywhere hanging from trees. Millet, which is just a grain, it doesn't have to be expensive like a seed, because in some ways the seeds aren't ready to grow. And then for gophers, like fodder, like big chunks of cabbage and corn. If you went with cabbage, corn, millet, and pH balanced water everywhere where you have these Santa Ana type winds, or the Santanas, they're called in many different things, or where things are not moving westerly out of the west to the east, and where there's volcano activity, I think you'll find a healing. I worked in Nepal in the Mustang Desert. It was fully gray. It was a desert that was not really too hot with orange or yellow, but gray, and it probably had a lot of salt. And what we did was we put out pine cones coated with mustard seed fat and just millet that it was dipped in, and hung them everywhere. And then within a few months, and that's at a much higher elevation, thousands of feet up, so it works, I think, much faster. Down in the lower lands, it's not as fast, but they now are growing big pine trees. What once was a gray desert, it can happen overnight. And I would think that people who live near volcanoes and forest areas, if they want to stop the extreme weather patterns on the planet, that the places to work are where there's fire, like forest fires or volcanoes, and to go up and just place water out. Good water and just millet, and if you can, fodder like corn, really fresh corn and lettuce, and the big animals will come and eat that. It's healthier for them to eat that. That really changed the climate in California. I also wanted to mention I'm starting to put out a newsletter on human health, because a lot of this has brought about so many ideas and changes at home in thinking of ways that have improved physical health of people at home. And I'm offering a newsletter. I am charging for it because I am a nonprofit and I have no money. So if you're interested in getting a newsletter to improve your own backyard, or to work in those forest fire areas and want exact details, or want to stay in touch and have a one-on-one discussion, or if you want help with human health, I have so many ideas that have come through this 2-year sojourn and meeting amazing people. I charge a sliding scale depending on what people can afford. And it might be, say, a subscription for, say, 6 months or a year. And then I would send you through the email a newsletter, maybe once a month or maybe once every 2 months, on amazing tips you can do for your health of your home, and the health of the environment. I have amazing lists and lists of things that can help people stay younger and have more longevity. If our climate has better longevity and long sustainability, our human health and animal health will directly relate to that and have better longevity. It's worth having longevity and staying alive longer. So I hope that someone will contact me. My business manager email is Frank, Frank, Murphy, Murphy, at Action ISP. That's actionisp.net. If you contact him, I can arrange anything you want as far as the newsletter. I shoot them out once a month, maybe more, depending on how often people need them or if you have questions. You just need to pay a yearly subscription or 6-month subscription, and then it's pretty much at your disposal to help, because I feel healing the forest fire and volcano areas is the key to our success to changing the climate and our health. Thank you.